All right, Roxana Dunn here. The instructional technology concept that I'm going to be discussing is using authoring tools for e-learning. I will use the decision-making matrix presented by Manning and Johnson in 2011 to discuss the general features of authoring tools. I will also identify any major differences between the three tools I have selected. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to discuss more of the concept of using authoring tools rather than nitpick at the differences between the three softwares that I've selected. So the tools that we're going to be looking at are Adobe Captivate, Articulate Storyline, and Lectora Inspire. All three of these tools are advertised as e-learning authoring softwares for rapidly creating and maintaining interactive e-learning content. Basically what that means is that it allows for a risk-free, ethical, and engaging format to deliver content in a variety of ways. So the problem they solve is content delivery, student assessment, and practicing skills. The content that's delivered can be done in a linear fashion with user-selected navigation or in a branched fashion. Here's a diagram that I took from the Articulate website, which shows a linear process versus the decision-making process with the branch scenarios. So the URLs for the three softwares are listed here. They can also be found with a simple Google search for Adobe Captivate, Articulate Storyline, or Lectora Inspire. Now the price points for each of these software are quite different. The Adobe Captivate price you see listed here is actually with the educational discount. The other two didn't have educational discounts listed, although they may be available. It seems to me that the budget of the person who's looking to develop some e-learning content, or it seems that the budget will be the limiting factor and probably have an impact on which one you choose. So, a bit of a description. Most authoring tools for e-learning are based on Microsoft PowerPoint, and they build on the functionality of the slides to create interactive learning and mobile learning content. Authoring tools give instructors of all levels to develop in-depth simulations or cases using scenarios designed to represent reality. Tools of this type, in theory, embrace a constructivist approach to learning and promote critical and evaluative thinking and decision-making. That's from Instructional Strategies Online 2012. Now the platforms that each of these softwares use, Adobe indicates that they have a Windows or a Mac operating system based software, whereas the other two only advertise having Windows-based software, Windows operating system compatibility. All three do, however, publish interactive content to the web, to mobile and tablet devices. They're also SCORM and AICC compliant, which is with the learning management systems. And they publish content to CD and to DVD. Now, most of the content would be accessible to either Mac or Windows. It just depends on the type of content and the browsers that you may use. This would be up to the instructional designer or the instructor who developed the content to ensure that they've made it accessible to their population or to their audience. So it's best used for the delivery of content at a self-directed learner pace. You can present new information or review previously learned information. You can also use it to develop case scenarios, which can be elaborate and ongoing throughout a course, for example, or it could be just a small case study. The level of expertise required. All three software programs actually boast about their ease of use for the basic functionalities. There are also a number of training resources available on the web or in person. That can be found. I'll show the links later on in my presentation here. There are many different functionalities in these software, so they're from easy to advanced. If you're new to the authoring softwares, they claim that it should be very easy to transition. For students, it should be easy, but that's dependent on the instructional designer or the instructor who designed the content. So, some cautions. It's important to use authoring tools with purposeful instructional design in mind. The premise of instructional design is to make learning more efficient. That's from Somerville and Reed Griffin, 2008. Somerville and Reed Griffin also note the importance of using a systematic approach that blends the principles of instructional planning with technology integration. It's very easy to get carried away with features and forget what your ultimate learning objectives are. So, overcoming some of the cautions, Dunlop, Jabrovnally, and Young from 2008 suggest that by keeping Kolb's model of experiential learning in mind, which you see here on this slide, while you're designing and sequencing e-learning activities, students are more likely to encounter more authentic learning experiences. So Kolb's model, when applied in an e-learning environment, guides instructors to provide adequate support and opportunity for reflection, practice, and experimentation. The functionality of the authoring tools for e-learning that I have described all allow for the design of courses and content that promote experiential learning. When it comes to accessibility, all three of these softwares are compliant with federal standards for accessibility. Special equipment, other than a headset or speakers and a typical computing device, whether it be a laptop or a desktop computer, maybe even a mobile device if you're just a user of the published content. That's all that you should need, assuming that, of course, you've checked, if you're the instructional designer, that the software you've chosen works with your operating system. Training and resources. There are a number of training and resources available for each of these softwares. You can find them through these links. Some are free and they're just videos on the web, and others cost quite a bit of money. So definitely a range. There's some in-person courses that I noted as well, and some continuing studies. Schools also offer training. So that's all I have to say about the authoring tools for e-learning. Here are my references, and I'd be happy to answer a few questions and start some discussion about this. Thanks.